Hey, what's going on everyone? I wanted to talk to you today about something that occurs probably for a lot of us, or most of us, when we're trying to lose fat. We drop our calories low because we think it's gonna help us lose fat faster, right? Now, inevitably, to lose weight, we're gonna have to drop our calories down from where our maintenance level would be. So we're burning more calories than our body is taking in. This is where the body is then gonna use those fat stores to give itself energy, and that's where fat loss happens. But dropping it too low puts the body in a place where it's not gonna lose that fat efficiently. It knows you're starving it, it knows it's not getting enough, and it's gonna have to hold off on burning that fat, or at least as much of that fat as it could, because it's not sure if this starvation is gonna continue for a long time. So it's sort of looking out for itself just in case. So yesterday, I was getting to another stage in my training where I always feel like I've overtrained. I know this because I start to feel sore in places that I probably shouldn't usually, and I mean more than just muscle soreness. You know, I'm getting little joints or little pulls in muscles, but they're a bit more frequent than just your average injury. I also am not recovering quick enough from my workouts. Obviously recovery is going to take some time, but I'm used to how long it should take, and now I'm noticing once again I'm getting to a stage where my muscles are staying sore for way too long, and it's then affecting the rest of my workout week when I need to get to another certain session, but I can't because this muscle group is still sore and it's affecting the one I need to do. Also then, because I can't train properly, and also because of what the calories are doing to my body, my mindset's not right. I fluctuate with moods, things like this, because your body's struggling. But here is the point I wanted to get to. I always tell myself, okay, I've overtrained. And because I say overtrained, that inevitably leads me to decide, okay, I need to take time off training so that I can rest up and recover so that I can get back to it. And then I realized, I'm saying overtraining, but on the other hand, you've also got undereating. Now, although they look different, these are exactly the same thing. The reason I feel like I've overtrained is because my workout intensity is too high compared to the low calorie amount I'm giving myself. Whereas if you were to take undereating, that basically means I'm not eating enough to fuel what I'm doing, which, as you can see, is exactly the same thing. But the actions you take after stating which one of those is happening to you are quite different. So I've always said to myself, I'm overtraining. So inevitably, that leads me to look at my training, and I take time off training, or I lower my intensity so I can recover and hope to get back to it in a day or so. But if I tell myself I'm under eating, I obviously would then look at eating properly. So increasing my food or increasing my calories. By increasing my calories, I'm then going to be able to fuel the workouts I'm already doing. I'm going to recover properly, or at least more efficiently, and I'm also going to help myself mentally. I'm going to feel more satisfied, as well as avoiding those energy crashes which put you in a bit of a mood sometimes. Now, what you might be wondering is, if I up my calories, am I then though going to stop burning the fat, or I'm no longer on a diet or whatever? But here is the important bit. What matters when you're on a diet is how much of a deficit you're on. That means if this is your training intensity and this is how much you're eating, this between here is the calorie deficit. Let's say you're burning 3,000 calories, but you eat 2,000 calories. That means this deficit is 1,000 calories. And if that deficit is too large, your body's gonna struggle. It can't maintain this intensity, so that means you're gonna have to either take time off, or you're gonna have to work out less, or you're gonna have to work out not so hard when you are at the gym. That means that calorie deficit is gonna decrease to try and help you cope with the low calories. But then obviously the calorie deficit's a lot smaller, so fat loss could be stalled, especially since your bodily functions, like the recovery and stuff, aren't working to their optimum level. Now, if you took that calorie deficit and you increase your food, then yes, you are making that deficit smaller, which hinders fat loss. But if you're increasing that food, you're gonna have more energy, more focus, and you're gonna recover better, which means you can then work out harder. So It just means you get to work out at the level you want while upping your food. So if this is where we were, we've upped our food, but then we've upped our training, or not upped our training, but we've managed to maintain the high, strong intensity we like to do, because we like being in the gym, right? We like doing this. You've still got your calorie deficit. You're just burning more up here and eating more here. But the calorie deficit's still the same. And if the deficit is still the same, the fat loss is still going to be there. So this is where a lot of people fall down. They think they come into a plateau in their diets. They think they're struggling, so they inevitably drop their calories more. But then they drop them lower and lower, and their body's going to get into more of a place where it doesn't want to let go of that fat because you're not fueling it enough. So start bringing those calories up a little, working maybe a bit harder or working the same, and see how the fat loss goes. So this is a terminology that I'm now going to change for myself. I'm going to start thinking of it as under eating and not overtraining, because it's going to benefit me so much more, and I'm going to be able to progress. Because you know, if we can work harder, we can progress better. If we work mediocrely, then we're going to get mediocre results, right? And that pretty much covers it. So think of these two margins of where your calories are, because if you do drop your food lower, and maybe people increase their cardio, you're just making that deficit bigger and bigger, making it harder and harder for your body to cope. And what we need to do with a diet is give ourselves a good amount of time so that our body can just about cope with being on a diet. So we want to put it in a place where it can cope, and we can still work hard, and we can still feel good, and inevitably we're still going to get the results. But if we keep making things worse for ourselves, we're going to struggle for longer and longer. We're going to feel worse throughout the process, and the process is actually going to slow down rather than speed up. So that's all I wanted to cover, because this is something I've done a lot, pretty much every time, multiple times, whenever I've dieted. I've always overtrained. And only now I was realizing, shit, I'm just saying it wrong. I'm under eating. That's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna start eating more, but then that means I can just go into the gym and I can hit those heavy weights that I wanna hit because they make me feel good, I enjoy it, and I can burn more calories because I'm working harder and lifting more volume, right? Alright, so that's where I'm gonna leave it. Hope this helped, because I realized it's a kind of a simple thing, but it can make a huge, huge difference to your results, your mind state, everything when it comes to your diet. Hope that helped, guys. Another video coming real soon. I'm gonna leave you there. Check out my Instagram as well if you haven't already, because there's updates daily on my diet on there. So yeah, thank you. Give me a thumbs up if you thought this was helpful. Drop me a comment as well on a video you want to see soon, because I want to bring videos for you guys, not just always stuff that I want to do, right? So okay, catch you soon.